In this tutorial, we are going to have a discussion of this paper of prediction of GCSE Maths Paper 3. And we are going to pick from the question where we had left. So we are going to go through it so that we can be able to see how do you answer questions as far as Paper 3 of GCSE Math is concerned. If you're new to Proflearn YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload another tutorial, you'll be notified. So here we are told that the diagram shows a solid metal cuboid. The areas of the three of the faces are marked in the diagram as shown there. And you can see there we have 27 centimeters square, which is the area of the top. And then we have 45, which is the area of this part that is facing us. And this area on the other end here is 15 centimeter square. Then we are expected to work out the volume or the number of cubes that can be made from here. So the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to figure out what will be the dimension of this cube that we are having here. And then we can see the cube is going to, we are told that the metal cube made into cubes, and each of the cube has length 2.5. So the volume of the cube that is going to be formed is going to be 2.5 raised to power 3, which is going to be 15,625. So which means we can be able to work out the number of cube if we know the volume of the entire cube. Now, in order to work out this question, we are going to identify a few things here. So we are going to say length times width is going to give length times height is going to give us 45. Then we shall have height times width, or length times width is going to give us 27. And then we have that is 15, length times width. Width times height is going to give us 15. And then we shall have the other part, which is going to be equivalent to, if we multiply, we are going to get the volume to be 135. And if we raise 2.5 raised to power 3, we are going to have 15.625. So which means this is the volume of the small cube that is formed. And we can be able now to use 135 divided by the volume that we got there, 15.2625. If we divide by 135, we are going to get our answer equals to 8. So 8 full cubes will be formed. Another area that you need to prepare on is a question to do with indices. And in this case, you can see here we are given a question whereby we are told that y raised to power 4 times y raised to power n. So the numerator is going to reduce to y raised to power 4 plus n. Then since y squared is going to be divided, then we're going to subtract it. Because we know when numbers of the same base are divided, we are going to subtract the powers. So that's why we're going to say 4 plus n minus 2 is equals to y raised to power negative 3. Working out this, we're going to have this reducing to negative 3 like that, and then we can be able to say our answer is going to be equals to negative 5, and we shall be able to stop and write our answer here just to make the examiner happy. Next, we are supposed to solve this, and we are going to use a quadratic formula. And in this case, we're going to say this is going to be 4 plus all minus square of negative 4 is going to be 16, and then over 2 times a. Our a is 5, so it's going to be 2 times 5. So if we work it out, we are going to get our answer equivalent to what? We're going to work out that if we work out this using our calculator, we are going to get the value of x reducing to, of course, this is going to be 4 plus or minus 16 plus 60 over 10, and this becomes x is equals to, if we put this in a calculator, we can be able to put this in a calculator so that we can be able to get our x being equivalent to 1.27, or x is equivalent to negative 0.472. so that is what you will get if you'll work out that, and we shall have 2 answers for the value of x in that case. So if you have joined, just leave a comment if the presentation is clear on the other end. Can see one person who has joined us, so we can be able to continue with this. So if you work it out, we need to transfer that negative 0.472, and then so that we can be able to move to the next part. So if you are supposed to answer a question to do with trigonometry, that is sketching of tan graphs, you need to understand that we have asymptotes at 90 and 270, and the asymptote should be dotted like that. The asymptote should be dotted so that we can be able to draw our graph like that. Our graph will go that way, and this other section now it will be coming down to 360 like that. So that is how a tan graph looks like, but you have to remember that the asymptote are lines where the graph will never touch, and in this case the asymptote here is going to be at 90 and 270. Yeah, so basically that's what we're going to do in answering question like that. Question to do with composite functions. We are told that f of x is equals to 2x plus 3 raised to power 2, and g of x is equals to 2x minus 1. Now with that composite function like that, we are supposed to find gf of negative 3. So the first thing that we're going to do in this case is to try as much find f of negative 3. We are going to find f of negative 3 first, and we know that f of x is 2x plus 3 squared, so we're going to say 2 times 3 then plus 3 raised to power 2, and if we work it out by putting it in the calculator, we're going to get the answer equivalent to 9. Then now in order to find gf of negative 3, it will mean that we are going to find g of what? 9, because already we have found that f of negative 3 is 9. Then now we are going to substitute that into the function of g, and that is going to be 2 times 9 minus 1, and that's going to be 17, so that we can be able to transfer it down here. And in order to find the inverse of the function, first you change the g function to y, and then you switch x and y, meaning that where you have x, you substitute it with y, and where you have y, you replace it with x. And then once we do that, we are going to make y the subject of the formula. Rearranging this, we are going to have our equation resulting to y is equals to x plus 1 over 2 as the inverse function of g function. So working it out, we can be able to substitute and replace our answers here so that we can be able to move to the next part. All right, so moving to the next question. Here it's a question to do with probability, and in this case we are expected to find the number of yellow counters in a bag. So the first thing that we ought to remember at this point is that this question here requires to remember that a function, to remember that probability add up to 1. Total probability should add up to 1. So which will mean that for us to work out this, we are going to equate everything that we shall add there to 1. But we shall first let yellow here, yellow to be x. So if we let yellow to be x, then this red, because we are told the red is 5 times the probability that the counter will be yellow, so which will mean that this is going to be 5x here. Then if we're going to add all the probability that are in that particular table, we are going to have that equals to 1. So we'll expected to make x the subject of the formula so that we can be able to find what the value of x is, and we shall get x is equals to 0.48. And having that x is equals to 0.48, you ought to remember that the total probability that we are working is for yellow, and the probability for yellow is 0.48, and there are 300 counters. So in order to find the number of yellow counters, we are going to say okay, this yellow is going to be 0.08. Divide, of course there was 6 there, and then once we have done that, we are going now to say the probability for yellow is 0.08. Yeah, for those guys who are joining us, please welcome to our live. This is a prediction. This is a prediction. Yeah, that's great. That is Akshati, welcome. Akshati, are you doing GCSE paper 3? Are you going to do this paper? This is actually a prediction. Akshati, welcome. Great, welcome. From which country are you watching from? Actually, from which country are you watching from? UK, welcome. I'm making this video from Kenya. Mr. Nick, behind Proflan YouTube channel. Welcome. I believe this is gonna help you. I'm glad you guys are joining. Please feel free to like the live, and also please comment if clear. If there's any question that you have, feel free to ask. This is a prediction of GCSE Maths Paper 3H. I know Paper 2H, Paper 1H, from those students who have joined this YouTube channel, they gave me a response. They said it went on well. I believe also that paper 3 will go well as well. I wish you all the best, or I wish all of you all the best. All right, great. Is biology coming tomorrow? I've not checked the timetable. for other subjects. But if you are having exam that is coming up, guys, you continue revising. But I deemed it fine to prepare for you this prediction so that we can be able to prepare for paper 3H. Guys, please, if you are new to Proflan YouTube channel, consider subscribing and also like the live so that it can also help the channel to grow. So I'm working on this question of probability here. We have gotten the probability for yellow, and in this case now we need to know the number of counters for yellow, so which means that we are going to take the 300 times 300 value that we have there times 0.08, and if we work it out, we are going to get our answer equivalent to 24 yellow counters. So that will mean that we have 24 yellow counters in that case. Yeah, so that is the answer. We should just transfer it down here. Now the next question that predicted that we need to prepare on is the question to do with cylinder, pressure, force and area. So in this case we are told the force that is exerted by the cylinder to the ground is 72 newtons, and the pressure on the ground is 1.4 newton per centimeter square. So what is the volume? First we need to work out the area of the base. Yeah, the area of the base. So we are going to use this information provided. Pressure is 1.4 and we have force 72. Then we are going to find A. So A is going to be 72 over 1.4 like that. And if we can put this in the calculator so that we can be able to get the answer, in that case we are going to say, let me just put it in the calculator so that we can be able to get it. Let me just put it in the calc so that we can be able to work it out. So we are going to say here that we have 72 divided by 1.4. So if we work it out, we are going to get our answer equivalent to 51.4. So we are going to say in that case that our answer is going to be 51.4 centimeter square. That's the area. That is the area of that cylinder. Then in order to work out the volume, we know volume formula is cross-section area times the height. So we have our cross-section area now, in that case is the base. So in case we want to find the volume of this cylinder here, if we want to find the volume of this cylinder, it will be the base of the cylinder, which we have gotten as 51, then we multiply by the height, cross-section area times the height, base times height for that case. And in that way we are going to work it out, and we shall get it as what? This is the formula we shall use in this case. This is the formula we shall be using in that case. And then we are going to say that working it out, we are going to get our answer equivalent to 51.4 times 12. Working it out, we are going to get our final answers 926 centimeter square as the volume of this particular cylinder. Guys, if you are joining us, please, if you have not subscribed to Proflan YouTube channel, subscribe so that whenever I'll be doing more tutorials, you'll be notified. This is a prediction of paper 3H, which we've been working, and I'll be doing lives until you do your exam on 11th. So if you are joining us, please consider writing the chat section where you are watching from, and if it's clear from this end. I really appreciate you guys for joining us, and I'll be doing more lives as far as paper 3H is concerned, and we shall even be going through past papers until you do your exams on 11th. So feel free to like the live and also to share it and subscribe to Profland YouTube channel. So after working out that, we've gotten our answer as 926 centimeter cubic as the volume of the cylinder. Now we need to move to the next part. I know this question here is iteration. Iteration was tested in paper 2, but I deemed it fine. We can also look at it. Maybe it can also be tested, but in case it do not be tested already, we saw it resurfacing in paper 2. So we are told the number of rabbits on a farm at the end of a month n is Pn. The number of rabbits at the end of the next month is given by this formula: Pn plus 1 is equals to 1.1 Pn minus 20. So at the end of April, there are 400 rabbits in the farm. So in the process of working out this, we are going to use that iteration formula, and in order to work it out, we are going to work out for the month of at the end of the month of April, May and June, so end of July. So we are going to say this is going to be 1.1 times 400, because Pn in that case was 400, and then minus 20. If you put that in the calculator, how do you put that in your calculator? Let me show you how you should be putting this information whenever you are doing this question in a calculator, so that you don't have to keep on inputting now and again. Let me just show you how you should be inserting this in your calculator. Now, remember, we have been told the initial is 400. So we are going to write 400 in our calculator like that, and then press the equal sign. All right. Once you have pressed the equal sign, I want you to write the formula now by saying 1.1 into bracket answer, because already our answer is 400, meaning every time you'll be inputting, it will be it will be inserting the previous answer that you have placed. So then we can say minus what? 20. Our answer that we had placed there was 400. So in order to get the next part, we are going to instruct our calculator 1.1 answer minus 400. So if we press equal sign, we are going to get 420. Okay, so because this 420 is going to be used in the next part, again, now we are going to, let me just show you the next part here. 3 is going to be for 1.1. we're going to say 1.1 into bracket, now it's 420 minus 20. So since we had done an input in our calculator, this answer now, when we are going to press again the calculator, is going to give us the next answer. This is going to be 442. So we are going to write here 442. So next we are going to say this is going to be 1.1 times 442 minus 20. So we are going again to input that in the calculator by just pressing the equal sign. So, and in decimals you press here so that you can be able to get your answer as 466.2, and in that case we can be able to say the month of July we shall be having that much, 466 rabbits, 466 rabbits in that case. So that's what we are going to get at that point, 466 rabbits in that month, right? Consider your result in part A suggests what will happen to the number of rabbits in the farm after a long period of time. So we can see that in this iteration formula, the population of rabbits, it keeps on increasing with time. So which means that it will reach a point whereby the farm will not be able to sustain the number of rabbits that are there. So the farm will be overrun by the population of the rabbits that we can have. Question number 15 is a question to do with compound interest. And under compound interest, you can be given a question whereby the interest is based in a given period of time. So we are told that EV invests 3550 euro pounds in a savings account for 3 years. She was paid 2.6% per annum compound interest for the first 2 years, and then she was paid R% interest in the third year. Yeah, R% interest in the third year. So which will mean that we can now be able to work out this and work out and find the value of R in this particular question. Whereby we're going to say this is going to be compound interest. We're going to write the formula amount is equals to 1 into P into 1 plus R over 100 raised to power n, where P is the principal, the initial amount that was invested, 1 plus R. R is the rate at which that earned compound interest. So we are going to substitute what we have in this question in order to find the amount that she's going to get after 2 years. And then this is going to be 2.6 over 100 raised to power 2, and that is going to translate that's going to translate to 37.0. so that is the pounds. And then because there was also a percentage, the amount was invested, or she was given an interest of R for another 1 year, we are going to use 37, yeah, as the initial amount in that particular case, so that we can be able to get the value of R as 2.2%. And the next question that we had already in the previous slide, we had already talked about the circle theorem, and in circle theorem we were supposed to find angle C, that is here, angle C. But something that you ought to notice is that we were given 71, which is angle TDA. Because this angle TDA is in alternate segment with angle ABD, which is 71, then we're going to say also angle ADB is going to be 71, because those are base angles of an isosceles triangle. Then we can be able to find the missing angle of DAB, because that is a triangle. So we shall say 71 plus 71 minus, and we subtract that sum from 180, which is going to be 38. So if we are finding angle C, we can be able to use angle A, because opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. So we are going to have this angle as 180 minus 38, and that translates to 42. 42 becomes our answer in that case. The question of bearing, that one I cannot be able to do it on screen because of it requires some sort of construction. I've already ordered a document camera, which I'll be using in my videos, which will enable me to write on the document camera. Whenever I'm writing on the document camera, then you will be able to see as I'm writing. So this kind of question whereby we have bearing, I will be able to do them live here, and you'll be seeing me using the construction materials, using my set squares. You'll be seeing that. So once the document camera come, I'll be able to use them in order to do such kind of questions. And if you are new to Proflan YouTube channel, guys, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to support Proflan. And also you like the live, please comment if there is any question you may have in the other section here. Please like the live, and also if there's any question that you have, kindly let me know. Now moving to the next question, we are supposed to show that the area of trapezium QUVR, this trapezium, we are supposed to show that the area of this trapezium is 2x squared plus 20x. So the first thing that we need to identify is that from S to V is S to V is 3x plus 5. Then Q to U is going to be what? Q to U is going to be x plus 5, because it will be 3x plus 5 minus 2x. So that's going to be x plus 5. That is Q to U. And this part here is 5. The height is 4x. And then we are going to use the formula of a trapezium, a half h into a plus b. So that is the area of a trapezium, which will mean that we can be able to substitute into the formula so that we can be able to get our answer. And if you simplify whatever we have, because a and b are the two sides of the trapezium, the longer and the shorter sides, which are parallel. So we can see our shorter side here is x plus 5, and the other one here is b. So which means that we can be able to simplify this, and if we open the bracket, it will be 2x times x will be 2x squared, and then plus 2x times 10, this is going to be 20x. And that is basically what we are going to have in this case. So in this question, you are supposed just to show that the area of that shape is that. Guys, if you are new to Proflan, kindly like the live, and also if you have not subscribed, subscribe so that anytime I'm going to do more tutorials, you'll be notified. Okay, so moving to the next part. Moving to the next question, this is the answer. We shall be able to move down. Now the next part is a question to do with how to solve linear equation, simultaneous equation, whereby one is linear and the other is a quadratic equation. Of course, we can be able to use the method of substitution. Method of substitution here, we are going to say that anywhere we have y, we shall be substituting 9 minus x, because we are told y is equal to 9 minus x. So we shall have to substitute that, working out minus 3xy. What is it going to be equivalent to? I get the answer, so that I'll just put it aside so that we avoid any confusion. Then we are going also to work out 2 into squaring x, y, that's going to be x, 9 minus x squared. That's going to translate to, we square that. So that would be 2 into 81 minus 18x, then plus x squared, which will mean that we shall have our answer as shown here. Then once we have gotten what this is going to reduce to, we are going to do what? We are going to now combine it into the expression and then put the like terms together so that we can have a quadratic equation. So we shall have 6x squared minus 63x, then plus, this is going to be plus 162 equals to 0. With that, we can now be able to solve that quadratic equation so that we can be able to solve that quadratic equation so that we can know what is the value of x and what is the value of y. So in that way, we are going to solve this quadratic in order to get the value of x. We can be able to use n method, you can use factorization, you can be able to use completing the square method, you can be able to use a quadratic formula depending which one you'll be comfortable with, and some questions will not be compatible with factorization. So in this case, I'll want us to divide all through by 3 first to reduce this equation to manageable level, and then now we can be able to apply the formula in order to work it out. So we can be able to apply the formula like that, substituting everything as it is. So it will be 2 times 2, which is going to be 4 in that case. So we shall have here 4, 2 times 2. And then if we simplify this particular equation that we have, we are going to have it as x is equals to 6 or x is equals to 4.5. Yeah, so that is the value of x. Then now we are going to, for each value of x, we are going to find the value of y. When x is equals to 6, when x is equals to 6, we are going to find the value of y by saying 9 minus 6, and that is going to translate to 3. And also when x is equals to 4.5, we are going to substitute it and say 9 minus 4.5, and that's going to translate to 4.5. And if we can write this as a coordinate, this is going to be coordinates is going to be 6, 3 and 4.5, 4.5, because you were supposed to find the point, the coordinates of the points where this is going to do what? The lines are going to cut across. The next question is about 3D geometry, but this is 3D geometry, which is also testing the aspect of trigonometry. So in order to calculate the angle of TSC, we know that AB is 5 centimeters. We know that AT is 5 centimeters, so we have 5 centimeters there. Then if we square that to get the AC, AD is 5 and DC is 5. So which will mean that if we want to work out the diagonal AC, we are going to use Pythagoras theorem, and that's going to be 5 squared plus 5 squared, which is going to be actually root of 50, and then A to M, that is the midpoint, that is halfway. So which will mean that we can be able to have it as a half of root 50. Then we need to find the angle, because the angle we are asked is the angle TSC, and that is going to be equivalent to tan. We're going to say, using this triangle, we have this as the angle we are looking for. This is the length from A to M, and this is the height, which is 12, and this is the right angle triangle. So we are going to use SOHCAHTOA, and we shall do tan inverse of whatever we have here, which is going to translate to 73 points. Let me just work it out. Yeah, let me just put it in the, we can round off, and that is going to translate to 74 degrees. So that is the angle for that case. Now, compound shapes and compound shapes involving a solid made from a cone and a hemisphere, that is a cone and a sphere, and that hemisphere is having a radius of 20, right? And then we are supposed to work out the value of K, but we are told the curved surface area of the cone is 580 pi, yeah, and then the radius is 20. So meaning that the first thing that we're going to do is to work out, we need to work out the volume, and the volume of hemisphere is going to be a half of the sphere, which is going to translate to what? Which is going to be V is equals to 2 over 3 pi r cubed, which is going to give us if you work it out, you have to leave it in exact form because you are supposed to find the value of K in exact form. So surface area of a cone is usually given by the formula pi RL, where this L is the slant height. So since we know the radius, we can be able to get the slant height using that surface area that was provided, the radius, and we find L here, whereby we're going to divide both sides by 20 pi, and this is going to translate to 29. So the slant height is going to be 29. Then in order to get the height, this is going to be square root of 29 squared minus 20 squared. We are using Pythagoras theorem because if you use the height of the cone and the radius, that becomes, and the slant height, it forms a right angle triangle, which we are going to use in that case. And let me just move this so that we can have enough space, and then we can be able to continue working it out. So that we have gotten the height, so we can be able to work out the volume of the cone, which is usually volume is equals to a third base area times height. So the base is a circular, so we are going to say this is going to be a third pi r squared h. So we have the radius, which is 20, we have the slant height, which is 21. Then we can be able now to work out that by substituting correctly, we are going to get our answer equivalent to 2800 pi centimeter cubic. Then we can now be able to add the two, and the total volume will be the hemisphere plus the cone. If we add the two guys there, we are going to have what? Let me move this. We are going to have our answer here equivalent to 24,400 over 3 pi. So we can equate that to K. Our K is the constant term. Our K is the constant term in this case that we have here. So this now will mark the end of this part of live. We are going to be doing more of this paper. I'll be doing more live to complete this paper. You can see there are some questions left there that we are going to be doing. And I appreciate guys for those who have been with me because now I have to go for another class. I'll be forced to stop there so that next I'll be doing the last part of this particular prediction. See you guys. Have a great time wherever you are. And if you are new to Proflan YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to do more tutorials, you'll be notified. See you the next tutorial. Mm-hmm.